Hello everyone, I'm Lola Ritz and this is Watching and Reading. I'm here to review this Hollywood movie, Mickey 17. So this movie is set in the year 2054. It's about the main character, Mickey. So Mickey and his friend, Timo, they are quite close, right? And then Timo comes to meet Mickey one day and tells him that the next big thing that Mickey should invest his money in to make him a billionaire in the future is macarons. Just like how anybody who goes into the burger business makes millions out of it, right? That's the same way macarons is going to be the next big thing in the food industry. So Mickey gets a loan and he starts up this macaron business. But what had happened was that macarons ended up not being the next big thing. So the whole thing, the whole setup, the whole establishment crashed. And there was nowhere for Mickey to find money to pay back the person that he owes. The man that he owes is Darius Blank, who is a brutal businessman. So they've been dodging, they've been escaping so that Darius Blank and his men do not find him. But there was this day, Mickey and Timo were coming back from wherever, and to their surprise, Darius Blank's men just appears in front of them and grabs them and takes them to Darius Blank. So it is at this meeting that they see that Darius Blank has another creditor tied up, right? And the how do I say this so that YouTube doesn't pull down my video? The creditor is turned into beef, unalived anyway, in their presence, and this gives them so much fear. And Darius Blank tells them that they cannot escape. There is nowhere they want to hide in this world that he cannot find them. So they had better get him his money. And they both agreed out of fear. They agreed that they will get him his money. Darius Blank lets them go. Now, Timo and Mickey are quite confused because they know that they can't get anything from anywhere. And they think about the next plan of action on how to save their lives so that Darius Blank doesn't unalive them like he unalived the other guy. So that's when Mickey and Timo hear about a colony expedition. They go there to find out what the whole thing is about. And what it's about is that there's this group of people who want to go into space to go and check other planets that they know human civilization can continue to live on, right? So that's what the expedition is about, going to go and find out the best planets that can accept human life, that can support human life, right? Mickey and Timo see that it's actually free to join this expedition, right? So that's what they do, they join. Knowing fully, because of what Darius Blank has said, that there's nowhere they want to hide in this world, they will find them. So it was basically like as if they ran away to another planet. So when they got there, they were told to fill up some forms. And Mickey picked his form and he realized that on this form that there are job descriptions, right, that people can do. So when you're applying to be part of the expedition, you pick the form and then you take out the job that you know you can do while on the expedition. So the thing is that Mickey does not have any education at all, comes from a very, very poor background. So there was practically nothing for him to pick. And then he saw a particular job titled an expendable, and he realized that the requirements for being an expendable, it requires no level of education, nothing, just be a human being to be an expendable. So Mickey picked this particular job. And Timo, his friend, because Timo had actually started a pilot course on Earth. So Timo applied to become a pilot, whereas Mickey applied to become an expendable. When Mickey submitted the form, right, the woman who submitted it to ask him, are you sure you really want to be an expendable? Did you actually read what your job would be, what you'll be doing as an expendable? But because Timo did not care, he was desperate to just get out of Earth. He just said yes. He was accepted on the colonial expedition. Now, this colonial expedition is headed by Kenneth Marshall. Now, this Kenneth Marshall is actually into politics, and he tried to become, I think it was he tried to become the president of the United States in the past twice, and he lost the election. So this was the next thing in his career for him, to head this colonial expedition, right? So anyway, Mickey is accepted. He's separated from Timo, so he doesn't even know what is going on with Timo. But we are following him. He's the main character. We see that a series of tests are done on Mickey, right? And then he's told about he's just shown this particular machine, and they call the machine a printer. And they showed him another machine. They called it a memory box. So they took series of tests on him. They told him about how they are going to be handling human waste and whatnot. But at this point, Mickey was not even interested in all these things they were seeing. He just wanted to get on the spaceship and get the hell out of Earth, right? After series of tests are done on him and whatnot, they are part of the expedition, and the spaceship leaves. Immediately, the spaceship leaves, right? Kenneth Marshall and his wife, Yofa, they come to address the people on the spaceship. So Kenneth Marshall is kind of giving them a speech about what the whole journey is going to be about. Kenneth Marshall was talking about them going to explore the planet Niflheim. So he says they get to Niflheim, they'll get to Niflheim, right? They see if Niflheim can support human life. And then when they get there and they discover that it can support human life, they'll go there to repopulate the planet. Like that's what they are selected for, to go there to repopulate the planet. So he told them about how they have to manage food. They have to manage rations. Like everybody's food is measured in calories. Like you are given an exact number of calories every day. You can't eat more, you can't eat less. Then he was also telling them about how they are not allowed to have sexual relations between themselves, because the expedition has been budgeted for just those number of people that are there. So bringing a new life is going to kind of like shorten everybody's ration. So there should be no sexual relations between them. And they don't know how long their journey is going to take before they get to Niflheim and all that. But when Kenneth and his wife Ilfa were making this announcement, right, Mickey saw this lady he considered very beautiful. Her name is Nasha. So Mickey saw Nasha and he was just smitten, just taken away. So Mickey and Nasha were not even listening to all these rules that Kenneth and Ilfa were talking about. So whenever they are being shared, they are giving their food, right? Now you see Nasha and Mickey like exchanging food. They are like helping each other out. So maybe like today, Nasha will give Mickey some part of her food so that he eats more calories. And then the next time, Mickey will give Nasha his food so that she eats more calories. Like they're just looking out for each other. They started this relationship on the spaceship. They were having sexual relations. Like everything that they were told not to do was what Mickey and Nasha were just doing. They didn't care. It's on this expedition rather that we'll see what an expendable really is. So what happens is that sometimes, right, maybe the scientists on the expedition, they need to get like gas samples from outside of the spaceship. It's Mickey that will be sent to go and get the gas samples, knowing fully well that the gas could be poisonous, the gas could cause any kind of harm on the human body. So it's Mickey that is sent there. So Mickey could go out into the space to get gas samples, and bring it back, and then he might react to the gas that he inhaled, and the gas could maybe cause him to be unalive. He could get unalived, right? And immediately he gets unalived, his body is being thrown into this furnace, and the printer that Mickey was shown will print a fresh body of Mickey. I don't know if you understand. It's like photocopying a document exactly. So the printer will print a fresh body of Mickey, and the memory box of Mickey will be reinserted into Mickey's brain and mind, so that when that printed body wakes up, it will be like as if it's Mickey coming to life all over again, right? So like that's what being an expendable is. It was like the lab rat, like the person that they just send out there to go and see whatever the hell is happening, and if he dies, he dies. You understand that kind of thing. So almost every time Mickey was being printed and reprinted. So the very first Mickey, the very first one who ran away and joined the expedition, that first one is Mickey 1. So that first one was unalive. They printed another Mickey, that was Mickey 2. So they kept, so once they are printing, they'll be counting the numbers, right? So on this fateful day, after Mickey 16 is unalive, right? Mickey 17 was printed and Mickey 17 was sent out. They just got to Niflheim planet. They just got there. Still in the spaceship, they wanted to see how Niflheim really looks and what is actually on the planet. So Mickey 17 was sent out. When Mickey 17 was sent out, right, he was walking around exploring the place alone, and that's how he fell. Niflheim is actually a very, very cold planet. It's as cold as, is it Antarctica, right? So there are ice blocks everywhere, ice caps or whatever it is called. So as Mickey is walking around, right, he then kind of like sinks into one of the ice caps and he falls off a cliff, an ice cliff. And the scientists seeing that from the spaceship assumed that Mickey 17 was unalive, right? But what happened was that he was not unalive. After falling off the ice cliff, right, then this set of aliens that look like bed bugs, they come out, they drag Mickey 17, they drag him back to the top to land, so that probably the people from the spaceship will see Mickey, rescue him and take him back inside. But like I said, the scientists on the spaceship have assumed that Mickey was unalive, so they went ahead to print Mickey 18. So Mickey 17 getting up was able to get himself into the spaceship. He went to his room. He wanted to get a nap, and that was when Mickey 18 walked into the room. Out of confusion, they are both looking at themselves, and Mickey 18 was like, he thought that Mickey 17 had died, like that's why he was printed. And he too, Mickey 17 said he could not believe that the scientists would rush to print Mickey 18 without confirming if Mickey 17 is actually dead. The thing is that the fact that both of them are alive at the same time, this concept is called the concept of multiples. And the concept of multiples is kind of like, it's a moral issue. Before Kenneth Marshall set out this expedition that he was set that they are on now, right? On Earth, this issue of printing and reprinting of the human body was actually invented there on Earth. It started on Earth, right? And scientists started to print and reprint bodies. But there was this particular person that was printed and he started to commit crimes, right? And what had happened was, after investigating, they realized that the place of the crime, like the person who committed this crime was actually not actually in that place, was doing something else. And upon further investigation, they realized that this criminal had actually printed another version of himself to stand as an alibi, right? So on arresting the first and the second copies of the prints, they realized that there was another third print who was also an alibi. So after this case, like after arresting the three copies, right, it became an issue of debate on earth. It was an ethical debate, it was a moral debate, like, is printing of human bodies actually good for the human civilization? And so, the people the people in the panel now decided that no, it is not. So they are going to ban the printing of humans, right? But it was now Kenneth Marshall who was at the meeting and actually told them that idea that maybe he told them that idea that he agrees that printing of human body should be banned on Earth, but they can use it for expedition in outer space. So that was why Kenneth was given the human printer on the spaceship, and that's why he's allowed, or Kenneth was allowed to print and reprint Mickey, right? But like now, there are now multiples. Mickey is now a multiple, right? And it is ethically wrong to have multiples because they could both plan to do something evil and use each other as an alibi. So, knowing this, Mickey 17 and 18 know that they're in danger. And they know if anyone finds out, they will both be unalived. So Mickey 18 grabs Mickey 17 and takes him to the furnace. And he wanted to just unalive Mickey 17 so he could continue with his life. But Mickey 17 begged for his life. And Mickey 18 was like, what difference does it make? Because they even all will be unalived. Even he will be unalived. And Mickey 17 said, yes, they will be. But like, he knows that Mickey 18 knows how they always feel whenever they are unalived. Like, he should just please give him that chance. Being that this unaliving is not out of circumstance. It's like Mickey 18 is trying to do it on purpose. So he begged. And they came to an agreement that what they'll be doing is that they'll be taking one day on and one day off from work. So, like, for example, if there's something that Mickey is supposed to do, Mickey 17 can go out today to do whatever the job is and come back to the room. Then tomorrow, Mickey 18 goes out to do the job. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So they were like, they plan that they'll be changing position and that they keep it a secret between themselves. So that's what they actually do. They keep it a secret. And Nasha is the first person to find out. And they are scared that Nasha will expose it, but she doesn't, right? Because she's in love with Mickey. So she doesn't. And someone else again comes and finds out about it and finds out that Nasha is keeping the secrets. Like, that's where everything just goes downhill for Nasha and the two Mickeys. I would like to just stop the review here. Like, there's still a lot that happened in the movie, but I'd like to just stop the review here. This movie, watching it, right, I realized that, like, the producers of the movie, they are trying to make the movie a futuristic sci-fi movie, right? That's what they made it out to be. But I watching it, yes, I saw it as a futuristic sci-fi movie. They also saw it as, it was also like a retelling of colonial times. That was how it looked to me. Like, you are telling us colonial times using future things that can happen in the future, using that measure to retell the story of colonial times. So that's how I saw it. That was the first thing I noticed about the movie. The person who had acted Mickey was Robert Pattinson. And oh my god, if not that I had seen the name on the poster, I wouldn't even know that he was the one. Like, the guy was just so, he looked so different in this movie. Wow. Robert Pattinson is a very, very good actor, honestly. Even the way he was speaking, his speech, that's not the way I know him to speak. But like, anyway, that's what it means to be a good actor, right? The concept of printing and reprinting human bodies is, I know the movie is trying to make it look like it's something new, but I don't know. I personally believe that printing and reprinting of human bodies have been existing for, or has existed for a very, very long time. That's what I personally believe. It has been around for a long time. This sci-fi movie is just trying to introduce us to the idea of it, but I believe it has been around for a long time. And why do I believe that? Because I believe that because looking at history, right, and all the things that happened during World War II, a lot of things. There are a lot of scientists then inventing and discovering things. So a lot of things, a lot of technology has been invented as far back as then. It's just that it was not released to the world. And and I believe that anytime these inventions want to be released to the human civilization, they start to introduce us to the idea through movies. So in the nearest future, it's going to be a public thing. Printing human bodies is going to be like, for everybody, it's going to be a public thing. But trust me, that's been around for a very long time. This particular movie, I've watched it for some time now. I didn't just watch it. I've watched it for, I think, like, immediately the movie came out, I think I watched it. But like, it took me time to review it. Like, there are some movies like that, like, immediately they are dropped, immediately they come out, I watch them, but it takes me time to review the movie. This particular one, it took me time to review it because 3/4 of the movie was just so disgusting. and I couldn't stand that. Like that was what was keeping me from reviewing the movie. Like there was a lot of vomiting, there was a lot of bleeding, there was a lot of disgusting things. Like I felt was not necessary. So it put me off. I couldn't. I did this movie. I couldn't even sit down and watch it at once. I had to like watch the movie in three parts, like watch it three times, because it was just so disgusting. Then the color, the whole background, the color. I don't know. Is it because? And I kept asking myself, is it because this movie was set in outer space? That's why you're not giving us HD color. What is this like? It has this kind of gross feeling. It was giving this kind of. For me, I felt gross watching the movie. But then again, I guess maybe that's what the producers were aiming for. The producers wanted us to feel gross about it, probably. Maybe for effect or something. I don't know. But anyway, that's that about this review anyway. If you're into sci-fi movies, actually, I think you should. This one should be. You should watch this one. So that's that for this review. See you in the next one. Bye.